Hi guys, so this video is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be an update. I just felt like I couldn't not make this video and just continue on with regular content. It would be weird. So I want to start this video off by saying that the baby is in the NICU. He's doing okay. He is surrounded by the best team of doctors and NICU nurses, and he's in the best place that he can be right now. So basically this video is going to be telling you that I went into labor at 27.5 weeks pregnant, and I ended up having the baby at 28 weeks. So exactly 12 weeks early. His due date was March 23rd, and I started going into labor on Christmas morning. So exactly 3 months early, or almost exactly. I'm going to try to make it through this video without getting too emotional. Obviously, I just had a baby 3 days ago, so I'm hormonal as it is. And then just the situation on top of it is kind of hard. I did write notes on my phone so I can like stay on track and not forget anything, because it's kind of a crazy story. I guess this is going to be my birth story, and I'm just going to kind of tell you what happened. If you follow me on Instagram, I was kind of updating daily over there. And just asking for prayers, and you know, from Christmas till now, so you might have a little more of a backstory if you follow me on Instagram, but I know a lot of people don't, and I didn't want to skip over this video and just start making videos not pregnant. And I just am here also to ask for your prayers. Please pray for him. Just please keep him in your prayers, that he's healthy, continues growing, that there's no complications, that we can just have as easy and smooth of a NICU stay as possible, please. Christmas Eve, I was so uncomfortable. We went to my mom's house, and I just had round ligament pain constantly. I had bought a maternity belt that I got in the day before just to help like lift him up, because everyone was like, oh, that's second pregnancy things. You just kind of feel sore all the time. You don't have the same ab muscles. I just didn't feel good. I like sat at the table most of Christmas Eve. Yeah, I don't know how else to explain. I just didn't feel good. That night, I couldn't sleep at all. Like going into Christmas, I had what I thought was round ligament pain all night long. It was constant. It wasn't like contractions. It didn't feel like cramping at all. It just literally felt like each side, like right under where you usually have round ligament pain, was just sore constantly. But the last time I went to the doctor, he had felt where the baby's head was, and the baby's head was right where I was feeling that pain. So he was like, you know, it's just stretching. It's a lot of weight right there. So I didn't really think of anything of it. And then on Christmas morning, this video is going to have some TMI moments. So if you're not okay with that, definitely click out now. But on Christmas morning, I went to the restroom and I noticed some blood. Not a lot, just a little bit. But me being the anxious person I am, I called the doctor. And of course it was Christmas, so they were closed that Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I just wanted to call so that I wasn't waiting multiple days to be seen. And I got the on-call or like after hours nurse, and she pretty much assured me that the amount I was having could be totally normal. I didn't have to go in. It was totally up to me, because I was having no pain, no cramping, nothing. It wasn't anything to be concerned about. But if you guys have been watching me for a while, you know I'm like a highly anxious person. So I was like, I'm just going to go in to labor and delivery and just get checked. And she told them, yeah, that's totally fine. I'll call them and let you know you're coming. So we packed up our car with Christmas presents. We thought that we were just going to kind of make a pit stop at the hospital, get checked out, make sure nothing crazy was going on, and then head over to my mom's house. So my mom met us at the hospital to get William so me and James could go into labor and delivery. And the doctor that was there was amazing. She was like, you know, I don't like anything to go unchecked, so we're going to do the whole shabam. She's like, I'm going to check to see if you're dilated. We're going to do blood work. We'll do an ultrasound, everything. She's like, I just don't want you to leave without feeling 100% comfortable. So basically, they hooked me up to the machine that monitors for contractions and that checks the baby's heart rate. They did tons of blood work. So first she checked my cervix, and she was like, she could see that there was a good amount of blood, more than she was expecting, and she could tell it was coming from above the cervix, because my cervix was tightly closed. So she couldn't really tell where it was coming from, and that can be concerning, because it can be because your cervix is thinning. So she was like, you know, we're still gonna do everything. Let's do an ultrasound so we can check your cervix, all that. So we went into an ultrasound. Cervix was still closed. Baby looked great. We went back into that room to wait, and it's just like kind of like a small delivery room. It's a triage room, but I'm still like on a bed. And the lady was like, you know, your ultrasound looked good. You're not dilating. Your blood work, all of it came back great. We're just waiting on 2 more things to come back. So just hang out here and relax. So me and James were like, okay, what are we gonna have for dinner? We're like talking, thinking like, you know, I felt totally fine. And then the doctor came in and she was just being kind of weird. She was like, hey, how are you feeling? And I was like, I'm fine. Like, I was like, maybe I have a UTI because I keep feeling like I have to pee. So maybe that's the issue. And she's like, okay, sorry. She's like, okay, well, I'm in here because you're having a lot of contractions. She's like, I have your monitor up on my screen out there and you're having a lot, which I didn't realize until today when I checked like my chart online. You can look at your medical stuff online. It says that I was having contractions every minute. So they were exactly a minute apart and I had no idea. So she was like, let me feel better. Everything came back good. You're good to go, but let me just check your cervix one more time just to make sure. I'm a little nervous about what I'm seeing on the screen. So she checked my cervix and then she put her hand on my knee and she was like, okay, you're at a 2. You're 2 centimeters dilated and 75% effaced, which an hour ago I was nothing. So she was amazing though. As soon as she said that, I started bawling my eyes out because you don't want to be in active labor at 27 weeks pregnant. But she was like, okay, we're going to admit you. We're taking you to labor and delivery. Don't worry. We're going to do our best to stop this. So I got admitted into labor and delivery. And then I kept having that round ligament pain, which later I found out that every time I was having that round ligament pain, it was actually a contraction. And I think the contractions weren't up as high because I was only 27 weeks pregnant. So my uterus wasn't as high up in my stomach as it would be if you were full term. So I was admitted into labor and delivery. And at that point, everything was like really fast. Nurses were running everywhere. I mean, I was in active labor. I was having contractions a minute apart, and I had went from a 0 to a 2 within like an hour, which if you have watched my birth story with William, you know that I dilate extremely fast. I went to like a 10 within 2 hours when I had William at 36 weeks. So immediately they put me on magnesium, some other medication that helps to slow contractions, antibiotic for like that group B strep, I think is what it's called, because my test, I obviously hadn't been tested for it yet. I don't think you even get tested for that until like 36 weeks. And then steroid for baby's lungs. So the magnesium is to like try and stop labor. It's an intense drug though. It just makes you feel like crap. Like my eyes were like crossing, like I couldn't control it. I just felt like my eyes kept crossing and you start to feel really weak. It's kind of like shutting down your body, I think, a little bit to try to like make your contractions just kind of calm down. And then at that point, labor seemed to slow down. The night was kind of uneventful, just lots of monitoring. Everyone kept coming in and asking like how I felt, what I was feeling. I was still having contractions on the screen. They were much farther apart though. And I kept saying like I felt totally fine. I just felt like I had round ligament pains, which once again was actually contractions. So the next day, December 26th, I was checked again and I was at a 4 and 80% effaced. So still very much in active labor, even while on the magnesium and everything. At that point though, we were able to get the second steroid shot in him. So then the goal was to just keep him in for 24 hours after that second steroid shot so that his lungs would have a better chance at developing. I hope I'm doing a good job of explaining this. So December 27th, I was still at a 4. The contractions had slowed, so they actually moved me to the high risk labor and delivery unit. So I wasn't in like an actual delivery room. I was just in a high risk room. At this point, we're thinking maybe we've stopped labor and I'm just gonna be here for weeks. So there wasn't a lot of changes. I was still at a 4, no contractions. And then December 28th, there was still no change. I was at a 4, no contractions. And I was starting to wonder like what the game plan is, like what's the goal? Like, I've been in active labor that had to be like medically stopped. I'm at a 4, I'm 80% effaced. Like, are we trying to keep him in for like a few days, a few weeks? I was talking about it on Instagram. Like, a bunch of people are messaging me like that they were able to keep their baby in for like 6 more weeks or 8 more weeks. So I was feeling really hopeful. And then that night I felt fine, and James went to sleep at 10 p.m. So then at 11:55 p.m. my favorite nurse was walking by, and her name's Kim, and I was like, I'll be 28 weeks in 5 minutes, because if you're in the hospital for preterm labor, like every day is like to be celebrated, especially like every new week. So I was going to be 28 weeks in 5 minutes. And 5 minutes later at midnight, I was calling a nurse in because I was having a horrible contraction. All these other times I was dilating, I didn't feel anything. All of a sudden, I was like, this is a contraction. And from there, it was just insanity. From there, it was just insanity. Because, like with William, I dilated fast, and this time it was a lot scarier. So 5 minutes later, so exactly at midnight at 28 weeks, I called her into my room because I was having a contraction, and then I had another one like 2 minutes later, and then like another one a minute later, and then I can look at like the call log. I didn't realize how close together they were until I looked at the call log when I called my mom, and I called her at like I texted her at 11:55, and I was like, I'm having a contraction, and then at 12 I was like, maybe be ready just in case, and then at 12:03 I said, actually get ready. And then at 12:05 I called her and I was like, can you just come now? So they were like really back to back. And it was a really scary couple of hours. So since I'd been moved up to from labor and delivery to high risk, I wasn't in a delivery room. I was in like a tiny room. Like, there's no way I could have delivered a baby in there, let alone a very premature baby, because the whole Nicu was going to have to be in the room for my delivery for when he came out. So by the time someone came into the room to check me to see if I was like in active labor again, I was at a 5, and it was go time, and nurses were like running around trying to get me down to labor and delivery, calling the doctor, calling Nicu, like, we have to get her downstairs, like, get everyone in the room, like, hurry, 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 because it's going fast. And by the time I got downstairs, so basically they just like detached my bed and like rolled me into the elevator and took me downstairs. And by the time I got downstairs, I think it was like just a few minutes later, like maybe 12:30 at this point, I was already at an 8, and contractions were so strong. Like, and I was just begging for an epidural, because with William, I didn't get an epidural until after I was at a 10. So like, I know I can do it, but I just felt like I can't handle this amount of pain with this amount of anxiety, because just knowing that, 1, I'm having a premature baby and we don't know how he's gonna be, and 2, like, I'm attempting a VBAC, and then I was kind of scared for me too, and just like the whole situation, everyone that had to be in the room, the amount of people, I was like, I can't handle like not getting an epidural and being this scared and having this many unknowns with the pain, you know, like, someone please give me an epidural. Because I hadn't been hooked up and I had been upstairs, I hadn't been on fluids, so they had to like get certain antibiotics and fluids into me and more magnesium before I delivered. So one nurse told me, like, pretty much, she was like, honestly, you need to relax your body as much as possible during these next contractions. You cannot tighten up or you're going to break your water and it's going to be game over, and you're not going to have time for an epidural. Because mind you, I went from a 5 to an 8 just in the amount of time it took to take me downstairs. And they knew from with William that I dilated to like a 10 within like an hour. Like, I don't know why, but I dilate like extremely fast. And this baby's way smaller, so he's going to come out easier. Which I was really proud of myself, because that next contraction, I stared at the light on the ceiling and I literally just stared at it and made myself like a limp noodle. I was in so much pain, but I just stayed there like, Lauren, you have to relax. If you break your water, you're not gonna get epidural. You cannot do this without an epidural. Like I said, the anxiety, I was like, you need to relax. So thankfully I was able to do it, and I was able to get the epidural, and I'm so thankful I was, because like I said, it was just too much going on. So once I got the epidural and my body calmed down, I felt like I could kind of like at that point, I think we were all kind of in shock too. So most of the labor, I just kind of like stared at everyone and said like, I'm really scared. I must have said I'm really scared like 500 times. So then the delivery was also scary because during the practice pushes that we did, we started losing his heartbeat. So then we're losing his heartbeat. His heartbeat's getting really low. He's stressed out. He's only 28 weeks. And I could just tell, like, the nurses were like, you know, you don't panic until we panic. But I could tell everyone was panicking. Like, you can see it in someone's eyes. And she just kept looking off to the side like, okay, Mom, I'm gonna need you to breathe slow. Okay, we're gonna calm down. And then I could see her being like, get the doctor in here, da, da, da. And then like everyone's kind of like running around again, and the nurses are coming in and out, and then they'd go off to the corner and kind of talk and be like, we need to get that. It was like something where they can text the doctor, and I remember them being like, okay, did you text the doctor? It's like whatever it was on their thing. She's like, yeah, okay, he's reading it. She's like, just calm. Actually, just go get him. Like, it was just getting more and more like frantic. So during those practice pushes, so I could just tell it was getting like really frantic. So we were losing his heartbeat, and then on top of that, I started like bleeding a little too much, and I'm having a VBAC, so that's like another risk. And I could just tell that like everyone was a little panicky, because then they're whispering about like the amount of blood. And so then I'm like, I just kept being like, I'm really scared. Like, I said that like 500 times, like, I'm really scared. It just felt like everything went wrong. Which, if you guys have been watching me for a while, you know that the reason I said I didn't want another baby after William, because William's labor was so traumatic for me that it took me a long time to like get over and kind of build up the courage to get pregnant again. Like, I always knew I wanted more kids, but I didn't know if I wanted to go through labor again, because his labor was just really traumatic for me. This one was like 500 times worse. Sorry. So the doctor rushed in, and they basically said, we need to get this baby out now. I need you to push as hard as you possibly can, because like I said, his heartbeat, and I think they gave me a shot to thicken up my blood or something that had to do with my blood because of the amount I was bleeding. And thankfully I was able to get him out in 4 pushes. So, and as far as I know, the shot for the bleeding worked, because nothing, scarier happened. It was just overwhelming and scary. There were so many people in the room, but he came out breathing, which was amazing. My hospital does delayed cord clamping, like you don't even have to ask for it, and especially with a preemie to get all those nutrients. So they actually had me they had him on my lower stomach right there for like 20 seconds or 30 seconds, or I don't know, however long they do the delayed cord clamping. So I technically did get to like hold him for a little bit, and then they kind of whisked him off to the Nicu, and I haven't gotten to hold him since, but that's okay, because I'd rather him be healthy. I'd rather him be resting and healing and getting stronger. I know my hospital is like very progressive. Like, they're all like, they want you to breastfeed. They were wanting me to have a VBAC. They want to do delayed cord clamping. So like, they really want me to do skin on skin, but we have to wait till it's safe. So I haven't gotten to hold him since, but I did get to hold him right when he came out. But everyone was absolutely amazing. Like, the nurses, the doctor, I like couldn't have asked for better hospital care. Like, everyone was just so overwhelmingly nice. And amazingly, he came out a whopping 4 pounds and 2 ounces. Just like my son was born at 36 weeks and he was 8 pounds 6 ounces. I was born at 35 weeks, I think, and I was 8 pounds 9 ounces. We just make big babies. My husband's 6'4". I think he was like 9 something. So he's still 28 weeks. So it's still, he's still really little, but at least like weight wise, he was a good weight. He was 4 pounds 2 ounces. And yeah, so that's my birth story. So I got discharged like 2 days after giving birth. We've been home for like a day and a half. It was really nice to see William. William hadn't seen us in like 6 days, and he's only 3, so I could tell when we picked him up, he was like, he just came and wrapped his arms around me and hugged me and sat on my lap for like 20 minutes just when we went to pick him up from my mom's house. So I think he was probably getting nervous, like, where's my mom? Like, you know, he had a great time at Mimi's house, but I'm sure he was a little uncomfortable or just nervous. So it was nice to be with William again, but we don't know how long the baby's going to be in the NICU. And I'll announce his name soon. I'm not trying to make it like some huge reveal or anything. I just had like this little name thing that I really wanted to take a picture with to announce his name. But he's so like hooked up right now and in this like box thing. I'm just hoping that maybe I can like, I don't know. If it's going to be too long, I'll just end up announcing it. But he seems to be doing really well. The first couple days were kind of a roller coaster, and there was like, you know, some things they had to do to get him to be stable, which is expected at his age of 28 weeks. I had him December 29th, early morning, like 2 a.m. of December 29th. So today is January 2nd, so I think he's, what, 3 or 4 days old. But I would just really appreciate it if, whatever you believe in, prayers or good vibes or whatever, if you would just send them his way and send them my way too, to keep me like sane, because it's a lot harder than I thought it would be. I knew it would be hard, but when you get home and you don't have your baby and then you're not pregnant anymore, and then I'm kind of like in shock because it doesn't feel like it happened. It's just weird that I'm like not pregnant anymore, and like my stomach's like gone and he's not here with us at home. So yeah, I would appreciate any prayers. Please just pray for him, for him to be strong and healthy and continue on the right path of progressing and no lifelong complications or anything. Like, I just want him to be healthy. And I can't wait till he can come home. Obviously they tell you like just expect it to be like the due date, like don't think it'll be any time before that. That way if it's any earlier, it's like exciting. So his due date was March 23rd, so it's 3 months away. But yeah, I've been going and seeing him multiple times a day. I had one of my best friends, Stephanie, she's a teacher, so she's been doing virtual learning. Like she hasn't been in the classroom, she's just been at home by herself, so she's been like quarantined. She decided to come and visit and stay with us because James had to go back to work, and I just didn't want to be here by myself like all day every day, just like in my emotions. And then that way James and I can go visit him whenever we want in the NICU, because Stephanie's here to watch William if we want to leave. So like I'm gonna go see him in like an hour. Yeah, I mean, that's the video. I'm not pregnant anymore, so don't be, I guess, like weirded out or think anything if you start to see like more regular videos coming out. I really just want this next couple months to fly by. I want to do anything I can to distract myself, and for me that's YouTube. I also have a few videos that were like filmed that I was editing to go up, like a what I eat in a day and like a vlog that I kind of still want to put up. But then I want to continue making videos. I just want to do anything that will make time go by faster. Like I just wish I could like, I just want time to go by faster. So yeah, I'm gonna start going back to regular videos just to kind of distract myself and have something to do, filming, editing, all of that. But yeah, I'm not pregnant anymore, so don't be surprised when you see I'm not pregnant anymore. You can follow my Instagram. It's just at lauren.midgley if you want more like updates on him. I kind of post a lot of stories, and you know, I felt like because I was posting a bunch of stuff when I was in labor, a lot of people like got invested in it. So I've just been like updating, and so if you want to see more updates, you can follow me over there. But yeah, I went into labor at 27.5 weeks, and I had my baby at 28 weeks. So that's the story. Thank you guys so much for watching. Yeah, just please pray for him.